Josh Longwell, HD High Island Ranch, Thermopolis, Wyoming. We've been using CattlActive for about 3.5 years now. We run a cow-calf and a yearling operation. We hold all our calves over, breed the heifers back, and calve them out as 2-year-olds. So on our 2-year-olds, we calve them out. Everything runs through the barn. So those calves get a dose when they're born, when they get tagged and turned out. Then we bring those calves back at branding. They'll get a second dose when they go out. And so the biggest difference we noticed between our 2-year-olds and our old cows was that the old cows had come in off the desert, and those cows, especially in the wet year like the last few, we'd have some scours in those cows. We don't scour guard or anything like that. And so then we started giving all those cows, their calves, a dose of CattlActive through when we branded in the spring. And we were getting really good results. We cleaned up the scours. We didn't get any foot rot. We wiped out the pneumonia. And so those cows, all the 2-year-olds and the old cows, they got to trail up the mountain. And so in the spring, we noticed that those calves were healthier. They were going on. We weren't doctoring as much after branding, so everything was good that way. And so we'd really seen an impact with the 2-year-olds, and then that's when we started giving it to all the old cows too, and their calves when they come in the spring. So before we started using CattlActive and you'd get them calves branded, we'd be leaving the meadows and head for the mountain, and you're a big change in elevation. It's 25 or 30 miles up there, and probably anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 feet elevation. So we'd get some pneumonia, or we'd get some pink eye, and you'd be doctoring sick calves, headed up to the mountain. And so we really noticed, after we started using the CattlActive, that the doctoring went way down. We weren't treating calves, we weren't doctoring calves all the way up the mountain. Those calves were healthier. Everything was growing and just went on after branding once they got that CattlActive in them. So with the stressors on the mountain, we deal with bears and wolves and a lot of killing. I think last year we figured it was about every 3 days we would find a kill. And so every time a calf gets killed, or they stir up a pack of wolves get into these cows, they stress these cows, they move them all over the ranch. They're always coming back down, and we're putting them back up and kicking bulls back in. And so we noticed that our breed back on our younger cows had went way down. And so since using the CattlActive and giving it to them as calves, and then again as a yearling, and then putting these cows on the CattlActive mineral, we noticed that we were getting these 2-year-olds after they'd have that first calf, and we were getting them bred back, coming 3-year-olds. And so, for us, that's, you got a lot of money into a cow, getting her to 2 raising a calf and getting her bred back as a 3. And if you can get that done, then that cow, for the most part, she's going to be on the ranch the rest of her life. And so if you don't get her bred back as a 3, well, then you start back over, and it costs you more to get them to that point. And so we've noticed with the CattlActive and the stress and everything else that these cows have had to deal with, that it's reducing that, and it's helping these cows get through that stress of dealing with predators and different things on the mountain. And it's really helped the breed back on those cows. So with the calving interval too, we'd get those once that cow misses that cycle, well, then it's it just backs you up, and we started getting a lot of calves late spring, early summer, and we were spreading that calving season out. And so we've noticed too that with these cows cycling early and keeping them on the mineral, that these cows are breeding back right away, and they're getting bred back on that first or second cycle, and we're not moving it out and calving clear into the summer. Grass tetany, and we got some larkspur and some death camas and different things. And so we started these cows on this mineral early this year, and it's been a really wet green year, and we haven't had one poison cow or a yearling, and so it's pretty much done away with that this year to this point. And we've kept that mineral in front of them, and they eat it and they like it, and so I think it's had a huge impact. I would recommend it to anybody. I had a neighbor that actually was dealing with some coccidiosis this last winter and losing some calves and doctoring, and so I recommended it to him. It's pretty much cleaned ours up. We dealt with it before CattlActive and some pink eye and some different things, and pneumonia and sick calves, and so we used it, and I highly recommended it to him, and so he bought some and used it on his calves, and it cleaned them right up. In a couple weeks, it was out of his cattle.
Thank you for watching CattlActive on our YouTube network. If you want more information, please check out one of the videos to the right, or check us out on Facebook.